My name is Brian Pennington, and my presentation is over the book The Green Mile by Stephen King. The Green Mile is told from the first-person perspective of Paul Edgecombe. Paul tells the stories from Cold Mountain, where he once worked. When Paul worked at Cold Mountain, the state penitentiary, as well as the electric chair, resided there. Paul worked on the E block of the penitentiary, Death Row. The E-block was nicknamed the Green Mile due to the old tired lime green linoleum floors that ran down the row. Paul had resided over 78 executions during his time at Cold Mountain. His last execution that he resided over was that of John Coffey, a man convicted of raping and murdering 2 young girls. John Coffey was very tall, roughly 6'8", and he was black. Despite his intimidating appearance, he was a very gentle man. What Paul did not know was that John had a very big secret. Unlike the secrets of the other inmates, John's secret was a gift from God. John had the power of healing. Paul's boss's wife was diagnosed with a brain tumor. She was no longer the same person that she used to be. She was bedridden, and she had taken to spouting vulgar and profanity for no apparent reason. Just when all hope seemed to be gone, Paul hatched a plan to take John Coffey to the boss's house in the middle of the night to heal the boss's wife. In order to do this, they had to put Percy Wetmore into a straitjacket and put him in the solitary confinement room. Then Paul, John, and 3 of the other guards piled into one of the guards' truck and made their way to the boss's home. When they arrived, their boss came outside with a shotgun, threatening to kill whomever woke him and his wife at such a late hour. Then Coffey sprang into action. Somehow he managed to calm the boss down, and the boss allowed him to walk right past him into the house and then up to the bedroom where the boss's wife laid. She looked moments away from death. John then went up to her bed and motioned as if he was going to kiss her. But then he stopped just before their lips met. The lights shuddered, and the house shook as John seemingly extracted all of the bad that was within the boss's wife. John fell to the floor, coughing violently. Miraculously, the boss's wife was cured. When they returned to Cold Mountain, John was still coughing. It seemed that whatever he had taken from the boss's wife was now affecting him. After letting Percy out of the solitary confinement room and the straitjacket, he walked down the Green Mile. As he passed John's cell, John reached from between his bars and grabbed a hold of Percy. Then John pulled Percy close and gave Percy the sickness of the boss's wife. Percy stumbled backwards and fell against the opposite cell. Paul and another guard went to see if he was okay, but he was entirely unresponsive. Then he stumbled past the 2 guards and kept walking back towards his desk. He stopped outside Wild Bill Wharton's cell, turned towards him, pulled out his revolver, and shot all 6 shots into the sleeping man. Percy Wetmore killed the true killer of those 2 little girls. The guards tackled him, expecting him to fight back, but he did not. He was like a zombie. Percy spent the rest of his days in a mental institution. Unfortunately, John still went to the electric chair. That was the last execution that Paul had any part in. After retiring, Paul went to an assisted living home where he wrote down all of his memoirs of the Green Mile. Paul had met a wonderful lady that he loved dearly, but unfortunately, she died in his arms. This is not the first time that Paul had experienced the death of a loved one. Paul and his wife were traveling by bus to Florida for their 3rd granddaughter's graduation, when one of the tires on the bus exploded. The bus went sideways, and a truck carrying fertilizer slammed into the side of it. Paul's wife died in his arms that day. The Green Mile is a great book for many reasons. This book really grabs the reader's attention and does not let up until the very last page. Although the ending of this book is not a particularly happy one, it does leave the reader feeling satisfied for reading it. I personally enjoyed an off-color ending. One thing that I thought was really great about this book was just how vividly everything was portrayed. I had a clear image of everything described in the book as well as a thorough understanding.
Created using Powtoon.